Welcome to Heat Up Your Retreats, the podcast where purpose meets planning and God-sized dreams come to life through transformational travel experiences. I'm your host, Amanda Heater, CEO of Across the Horizon Travel, retreat strategist, and passionate believer in using travel as a tool for impact. Whether you're a coach, pastor, wellness leader, or change maker, ready to lead your first or even your next retreat, you're in the right place. Let's turn your vision into a powerful, profitable, and spirit-led retreat experience. Let's heat things up together. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Heat Up Your Retreats, where we help leaders, coaches, and visionaries create transformational experiences through powerful retreats and events. I am your host, Amanda, and every week we dive into the strategies, the mindset, and the behind-the-scenes truth that actually makes events successful. Today, I am thrilled because we have a guest who truly embodies resilience, leadership, and what it means to rise after a fall. Today's guest is Marques Ogden, former NFL player, international keynote speaker, best-selling author, business coach, and host of Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. Marques has one of the most powerful comeback stories I've ever heard. After losing everything in business, he rebuilt his life, his brand, and his purpose with a level of grit and humility that inspires audiences around the world. He's not just a speaker. He is someone who moves rooms and helps leaders step into their highest potential. I am honored to have him here today. Marques, welcome to the show.
How are you, Amanda? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I am doing fabulous. We're a couple weeks away from Christmas, like we were just talking about, and I am just ready for the holiday season.
I know that's right. Same here. Finished both also my shopping for my girls, so things looking good. No complaints over here.
I love that. I love that. So let's dive into it. I've got some questions that I would love to hear your insight and responses to.
Let's
So,
go.
Marques, for our listeners who may be new to your story, can you walk us through the journey from the NFL to entrepreneurship to the incredible speaking career that you have today? And what brought you to the work that you do now?
So I'm a former NFL athlete. I was drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars. My rookie head coach, who he was a rookie himself as well, oddly enough, was Jack Del Rio. And Jack Del Rio was an amazing human being. He is an amazing human being. Jack really taught us about being self-inspired, self-starting people. Don't wait around. He said, always be your own CEO. Be your own chief executive officer. So I had an amazing career in the National Football League, got to play around some great players, great coaches, great people. But unfortunately, right, Amanda, where the NFL stadium lights went off, per se, I had no purpose. I had no structure. I really didn't know what to do next, where to go. And then I ended up getting into construction, and that was about 2008. I started when the market crashed, and what happened is I started as a small commercial concrete contractor, and we grew from a couple 100,000 to 3 years later, we were the largest African American subcontracting company in the area of site work, which was like excavation, hauling, dirt removal, all these things in Baltimore City, in the state of Maryland, the DC area, and Virginia. But unfortunately, right, Amanda, my ego, my bravado, my aggressive nature, I was living on the personality ethics side of life, which is the bad side of the street. Rage, wrath, lust, envy, anger. I was always trying to keep people away from me because I knew in my heart of hearts, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I didn't want you to find out. So I ended up creating one of the most toxic, negative, just disparaging, deprivating cultures you could imagine with our company, Caden Premier Enterprises. And in 2013, I hit a snag on a job in 2012, excuse me. And then in 2013, I ended up having to file a complete Chapter 7 bankruptcy. My
Mm.
home got foreclosed on in 2013. When I got to Raleigh, North Carolina, in April of 2013, within 2 weeks of being back in Raleigh, or being in Raleigh, both cars that I owned were repossessed, not in the same month, not in the same week, in the same day.
Oh my gosh.
Boom, boom. I was working at Merrill Lynch for a short time in the finance industry as trying to become a financial planner. Unfortunately, I was not doing well on my practice test. Again, all my fault. And I ended up getting fired. Again, all my fault. I went to a construction company the next day and I got fired from that job 5 days later. I like to say when I'm speaking to people as a keynote speaker, has anybody ever here got fired twice in the same week? Almost nobody raises their hand. I've probably spoken for hundreds of thousands of people, right, in my career, maybe millions, right, between virtual, all this stuff. I think I might have had less. I think I've had like maybe like one or two people say that, but I've been fired twice in the same week. So what happened is I took a job as a custodian working in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour on the graveyard shift from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m., cleaning buildings, office buildings, taking trash out, hauling, just throwing all the stuff like office buildings and condos that were being rented for work and all this type of stuff. I was literally just cleaning up all these different buildings, these spaces for 8.25 an hour. And I was taking out the trash on my shift. It's about 4:30 in the morning. I was tired. I was going to go home, get a couple hours sleep, and then go ahead and start doing training of football. 'Cause I also trained kids in football at that time. And unfortunately, when I went to throw the trash away, Amanda, I didn't see there was a rip on the front side of the bag. And I ended up throwing all that trash into the trash can, and all that trash came right back on me.
Oh
All of
my God.
it. It was funky, nasty, protruding, horrible smelling garbage. And unfortunately for me, what happened is I still was trying to blame other people up until I had that rock bottom moment. And when that moment happened, right, man, I'm sitting there, I'm working the night shift, I'm making 8.25 an hour, I am feeling like a failure, I'm barely able to take care of my family. No, I mean, I'm talking like no sense of like structure and a good life. It was just very empty. It was constantly always working. It was constantly just trying to make ends meet. Period. That's what it was. We're trying to make ends meet. And
Mhm.
so I ended up basically, after that moment, I said, wow, if I'm going to get up off this curb, it's going to have to be me. There's nobody coming to save me. There's no white horse with a knight on it. There's nobody coming with a limo and a chauffeur coming up to the curb, going to open the door, say, Marcus, let's take you back to your mansion. Let's snap back to reality. Hey, Marcus, let's go back to when you were an NFL athlete. Hey, Marcus, let's go back to when you were an eight-figure construction company owner, making over seven figures a year. Wasn't going to happen. Basically, Amanda, I was that first from April 2013 until September 2013, I was really expecting wholeheartedly for someone to come and save me. I was waiting for that chauffeur. I was waiting for that white horse. And that moment, that rock bottom spoiled milk moment, snapped me back into reality and said, no, big fella, if you want out of here, it's on you. So I said, okay, let's start speaking. That sounds good. Tony Robbins did it. He was a janitor. How hard could it be? Started speaking in September 2013. Didn't get a paid job for 2.5 years.
Wow.
Everything was either free or no. And I heard a lot more no than yes for free. A lot more no, probably 10 to 1 minimum. And finally got my first paid job in April 2016 with Miller Mock College in Wilmington, North Carolina. Did that job, did well. I ended up after that getting my second paid job in 2017 with the Buffalo Bills football team through my great friend Marlon Kerner. After that, in 2018, I met Mel Robbins. Mel was huge in helping me to understand how to be inspirational and not motivational, be, giving and giving people, creating and giving people hope, not just talking about things for the short term. I then got coached by my business coach, Brad Mitchell, at the NAPSA program, National Athletic Professional Success Academy. And after that, right, Amanda, in the last, what's that going on now? Almost 8 years, 7.5 going on 8 years. We have worked for over 85 Fortune 500 clients. We have been very blessed. We have done a lot of work. We're so fortunate. We've had a great 2025. We already have about 12 to 14 jobs booked between January 2nd and February 27th already.
Wow.
We're going to Mount Airy, North Carolina on January 2nd. We're going to Tampa, Florida on January 12th. We're going to Buffalo, New York, January 23rd. Scottsdale, Arizona, February 2nd. Wichita, Kansas, February 3rd. We're going to Cranberry, Pennsylvania, February 11th. Doing jobs in Raleigh, then Charlotte, end of the month in February. We are just fortunate about 10 jobs, 10 to 12 jobs that we've got booked already in that time period. So if you're listening to this podcast, you ask me the question, how did we get here? We got here by starting every place. Every beginner starts the bottom, the absolute
Mm-hmm.
bottom. There are no magic secrets to this business, like any other business. There's no magic wand. There's no, hey, let's just go snap our finger and all the jobs are going to come to us. Absolutely not. Do you know how many jobs I was turned down for in that 30 months? You don't even want to start to imagine. Do you want to know
Mm-hmm.
the stress I was under trying to build a business when I truly didn't even know how to have a business? But I knew that I was fired from two jobs in the same week. I'm like, well, if I get fired from two jobs in the same week, might be a good idea to try to start something on my own, right? Again, like I did with Kate and to see what happened this time with Ogden Ventures, I got a lot more life experience and wisdom, which has allowed me with this business to grow it the good old fashioned way at the bottom, hardship, overcoming struggles, to now get to a point, right, Amanda, where people are constantly wanting us. I tell our clients in the beginning, when you start in the business world as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to do more recruiting of getting clients or chasing and or call it pursuing. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I like to call it recruiting. As your brand grows and you get more visibility, more brand awareness, it shifts to attracting where people are pursuing you. But
Mm-hmm.
to close an awesome question you asked, I've been doing this now for 12 years. Lots of downs, lots of hardship, lots of loss, lots of rejection. On the other side, breakthroughs. The other side, wins. On the other side, just kept going. So, and again, you have to be willing to start at the bottom and work your way up.
So when you talked about being fired twice in 1 week, which that's crazy. I don't think I know anybody that has experienced that. So
Now you
now I
do.
officially do.
Now
Hi,
you
Mark.
do. Hi.
So I'm assuming that was really like that turning point that helped you start wanting to go, okay, what's next? I need to rebuild. I can't be in this place forever. Am I correct on that?
You know, You are, but then you're not, because I love this point. I want to be clear, right? This is a great question. I knew something was wrong after I got fired from two jobs in the same week. But I still thought it was everybody else's fault around me and that I was
Mm,
just having bad luck. In reality, I was the bad apple. That's what it was. And
wow.
so now, right, I realized that what happened to see that I had to change, right, Amanda, was the rock bottom moment. I tell everybody without the rock bottom moment, and so in that regard, it's huge for that front. And I tell people if you don't take ownership, nothing ever changes. One of my
Yeah.
favorite quotes from one of my favorite people. Ready? Rock bottom is the moment that I rebuilt my life. J.K. Rowling's, who wrote the Harry Potter series in her car when she was broke after getting out of an abusive, toxic relationship. Everybody thought she was nuts. Everybody thought, who is this woman? Why is she writing this book? And so many people turned her down, right? You talk about like when to
Mhm.
heat up and like you talk about heating up, right? And like in the whole like heat up and like get your business going. She had to face the heat. It was turning up every time. No, it's not gonna work. No, it's not gonna work. She just kept turning that dial. And eventually she faced the music and she found somebody that believed in her because she didn't stop. When all the pressure and all the heat turned up, she just kept turning up her dial. She didn't quit. She didn't stop. And she found a publisher that believed in her. Who's the only billionaire author in the world today?
I'm assuming her.
J.K. Rowling's, the only
Wow.
one. So my point is, right, to answer your question, I was aware of what was going on. But what happened is that I finally said to myself, you have to change once the rock. How about this, man? I'm saying real plain like this. I knew I had to change when the rock bottom moment made me aware that I had to change.
Mm. Yeah, I can totally resonate with that because I've been in a really, really dark place multiple times in my life. And so I understand that. And people sometimes look at the success that you have now in life and they don't realize that there was a lot of steps to get there. And people go, wow, they're so lucky. But really, it's not about luck. It's really about the grit. It's about the persistence. It's about just putting one foot in front of the other. So, you have become one of the most sought after speakers in the country. So I want to ask you, when you step onto a stage or into an event, what do you believe is the transformation that you bring to the audience?
I believe the transformation I bring to the audience is the authenticity of who I am. And I don't just talk about things from a life is good, it's all gold
Mhm.
perspective. A
Yes.
lot of speakers, unfortunately, they feel that they have to keep everything high side, high level, nothing but the best, perfect perfection, all this stuff. That's not real. That's not real.
Mhm. Mhm.
Nobody's life is perfect or glitz and glamour or high side. A lot of times people feel that being vulnerable is a mistake. And I believe that transformation comes when you realize that vulnerability is your superpower. The
Mm.
more you're vulnerable and honest and raw with people, that's when they transform. Now, hear this. Don't be somebody that's always about the bottom. Because again, we don't want people to feel sorry for you. Talk about your bottom, then your rise. If you have another struggle, to look at me, right? NFL athlete, high. Came down when I lost the NFL, lost my dad, I hit a low. Rebuilt myself with a construction company, got to a high. But the problem was I was too high. My ego took over, crashed down when I lost everything and moved to Raleigh. Fired from two jobs, no money, no self respect. And then I did what? Climb my way back out, right? Got to a point where things were going well with speaking, all this stuff. Then I went back down when my divorce happened unexpectedly. Had to file, move into an apartment, dark, dingy, black refrigerator, feeling that Freddy Krueger could have popped out of my refrigerator at any time in my worst nightmare. Or Michael Myers was going to come out from the pantry that was literally the pantry was right across from a vent that right across from the dryer, which is like a death trap, right? But that's all I could get into. I had 2 weeks to get out of my marital home. And I needed a
Mm.
place with 2 bedrooms for me and my daughter. And it had fully furnished apartment because I had no front. When I left the house, right, Amanda, I had nothing. My clothes, my trinkets, that's all I had. What you see behind me, my jersey, I had that and a couple of other items that were in my office when I got out of my house. That's it. No furniture, no beds. No, I started over everything from brand new. And for 2.5 months, I couldn't even get out of bed. Why am I here? Oh my God. How did I do this? How did I do that? How am I divorced? What did I do wrong? For 2.5 months, it was hard, right? And then I ended up going up. And now here we are speaking, coaching, consulting, podcast, brand ambassador, business owner. Bought my house 2.5 years ago. Got out of my funk. Ladies and gentlemen, people love the hero's journey. They love the ups, the downs, the ups, the downs, the back ups. Because what it does, it makes you relatable. So, how about this? Transformation truly happens the more vulnerable, the more real, the more relatable you are.
Mm. I love that. That is 100% facts and true. And that's why when we had our conversation before this podcast and you started sharing who you were, I was like, I got to have you on here. You're so inspirational. So, speaking of inspiration, you have spoken at and even hosted some of your own incredible events.
Mhm.
Can you share with the audience an experience from an event that you've planned or even participated in that taught you a major lesson, either logistically or emotionally?
So I remember was it my very first? Yes, it was my very first event that we were doing in Atlanta for our first academy. And I did not understand all of the work that went into trying to set up an event on your own. From talking to the hotel, to the sales agent, to the booking agent, to the getting the room blocks, to trying to get the food catered. It was a nightmare, a nightmare. And I didn't realize how hard it was. And then what happened is I had nobody like you, Amanda, to help to be that I could hire to consult with, to get the education, to get the knowledge. And so what happened is I didn't realize once I signed that contract, I had to come up with a deposit for the room block or pay for them whether the rooms got booked or not. And I remember we were $3,000 short. And at that time, we did not have a ton of money financially, and we didn't have 3 grand to put out. We didn't have it. And I remember I was playing poker, and I ended up hitting a straight flush in that hand that night, and I won $3,200. And I
Wow.
took that $200. I took $200, put it in my bank. I took 3 grand and I paid off that room block, and we were able to have our very first event. If we or I did not get that straight flush in poker that night, I don't think our very first event goes off. And then from there, we wouldn't have had the one we did in Kansas City, Baltimore, Vegas, and Home Depot, who's a client of ours now, past client, would not have been. So my point is, I had grandiose expectations, grandiose visions for an event, but I didn't. I had the why. I wanted to help people, right? I knew what I needed to do, but the how, the tactically, yeah, I overlooked that part, and it ended up costing me. Luckily, I got that straight flush, and paid it off. But again, this is where if you're looking to do an event spend like Amanda, you want someone that can help you with the why you want to do the event, because that's the emotion part, what needs to be done logically in that regard, and then how. That's where the Amandas go and they make those phone calls. They get you the best deal for the room blocks. They get you the best deals for discounts for food. This is why I tell people hire someone so you don't have to go through the headache on the other side like I did.
Mm-hmm. 100%. So I want to talk about some of the hard parts that people don't really like to talk about. So typically event leaders, they often only see the highlight reel for other events that are going on. So what are some of the behind the scene challenges people don't realize come with planning high level events like you've done? And how have you personally navigated them?
It's one of the big things is trying to market and get everybody on the same page is
Mm-hmm.
so hard because you have to
Mm-hmm.
have all these people like you have sponsors, you have vendors, you have attendees, you've got the hotel, you've got the people in the food, you've got the people in sales, and you are the person trying to organize everybody to get them onto a set agenda and a set system or a structure of how things are going to run. And let me tell you, that can be one of the worst nightmares on earth because
Mm-hmm.
trying to get everybody on the same page is hard enough. Imagine people from all across the country, different time zones, different this, different that. If you don't have someone to help you take care of that, let me tell you, your event, unless you just feel like putting your whole life on hold and trying to do it yourself, that's going to be a nightmare
Yeah.
because it's so hard to get everything planned and that's the word I'm looking for. The event coordination can be an absolute nightmare if you don't have the right people in your corner. Hook,
100%.
line, sinker.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. Love it. Hook, line, sinker. Yes. Okay, so some advice that I would love to ask from you for anybody that's thinking about hosting their own powerful, life changing experience. What is some advice that you would give them from your own journey, from past events that you've had, something that maybe they wouldn't even think, besides what we've already talked about?
I'm going to say this, we talked about it, but it's that important. I'm just going to say it. Hire an Amanda to do it. I did 4 events, 4. And at every big event I had, something always went wrong. And I
Mm,
had to fix it. And I didn't have anybody in my team, in my corner that knew how to handle it. And so I had to handle it. And let me
mm,
tell you something. The stress, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, all things I had to experience with these events. And the events went off great. Nobody knows. But you know what's interesting? The events went off great, but every night at social time, I would drink so much. Because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this went off without a hitch. Nobody knows this, but I would drink like a fish. And that's why I was a lot heavier back then. Today, I'm a lot lighter. I actually stopped drinking about 3 months ago because I did
yeah.
a procedure and I feel better and I'm much more clear. But I'm just telling you again, ladies and gentlemen, hire someone like an Amanda to do all of the logistical things you need done. I don't care how much you try to plan, you strategize, something always goes wrong. This is why you want to have someone like Amanda who can take care of those fires for you. So this way, your event goes off without a hitch. Because the event has fire people can see and they know there's problems. Tell you what, they'll never come back to your event ever, ever again.
You are so right. And guys, I did not pay Marcus to say the things he's
She
saying, I
did
promise.
not. She did not. But I'm a guy that's done 4 in a short time period. And I remember the stress. With Atlanta, it was running out of money. With Kansas City, it was getting all the food coordinated and things like that, and it didn't go well. It was with Baltimore, the sponsors were pissed. They didn't have enough of a good prime time spot, they felt, to display people coming in the door. And in Vegas, man, the drinks, the social event was so hard to coordinate because so many people were outgoing here, wanted to go to the Vegas Strip, wanted to go this, wanted to go party, and like it was herding cattle every single time. I don't care how great the events, and the events were amazing. I had stress at every single last one of them. Every single last one of them. And one of them, I'm gonna be honest, one of them, Atlanta, I drank so much. I'm sorry, not Atlanta, Baltimore. That was my third one because Baltimore was super stressful because we had Home Depot as our title sponsor and they paid a lot of money and it wasn't as good as they thought it was the second time when we came to City. So Baltimore was a super stressor. I remember drinking so much after the end of the first day. When I woke up the second day, I literally didn't even remember how I got to my room.
Oh my God.
Because I was so stressed out. And it got done. And again, nobody knew about it. But that's the level of stress, anxiety I was under because I didn't have someone on my team that knew how to be an expert and had the wisdom in this arena.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today, Marques. So I know that my audience is going to want to connect with you. So could you quickly share the easiest way for them to find you? And do you have any upcoming events that you could share with everybody if they would, so they can potentially come see you in person or see you virtually? Would love for you to share that with us.
Yeah. So they can go to our website, www.marquesogden.com. They can connect with us there. You can go to, you can email us at marcus@marquesogden.com. And we have upcoming a couple of cool events with some sponsors in 2026, some virtual roundtables we're doing. We have our Inner Game community where we interview amazing people. We have a free link. I'll make sure to get that over to you for your audience. They want to join for free to be part of our group. We love to have them. And again, it's all about connecting with people and creating a sense of trust and a sense of community with people that are of like mind and have a good heart to want to help others.
I love it. Well, Marques, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today and your honesty and your wisdom. Your journey is a reminder that resilience is built, not born, and that the most powerful leaders are the ones who rise, rebuild, and pour into others. To our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you, make sure to subscribe, share this episode with a friend, and leave a review so we can reach even more leaders who are ready to heat up their retreats and events. I'm Amanda, and I'll see you next time on Heat Up Your Retreats podcast. Bye, friends.
Thank you for tuning in to Heat Up Your Retreats. I hope today's episode sparked fresh inspiration and reminded you that your retreat vision is meant to be realized. Are you ready to take the next step? Please send me an email at amanda@acrossthehorizontravel.com with the subject line of strategy session, and let's start building a transformational retreat that aligns with your mission. Be sure to follow, share, and leave a review so more leaders like you can heat things up too. Until next time, keep dreaming big, keep planning bold, and keep heating up your retreats.